It's showing now. It's recording. It's showing recording pending to me. Yeah, it started. Okay.
Started.
Yeah. So let me start with my introduction first. My name is 𝗚𝗏𝗦. Currently, I'm a third year undergraduate student pursuing BTech in computer science from NIT Patna, and I'm also the lead of GDSC, leading Flutter department, and currently the Flutter facilitator. With me, I have Srijan Sovik. Like he's also a GDSC lead for the Flutter session 2021-2022. So he will be helping me with in hand in chat queries and other things. Srijan, also would you also like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, okay, sir. So, hi everyone. Myself Srijan Shovit, and I'm a second year ECE student, and I'm one of the GDSC Flutter leads for the session 2021-22. That's all, sir. You may please continue.
Yeah, okay. So I hope my screen is visible. So let's start with the Flutter festival. This is like you can say the first in hand festival for the Flutter SDK itself only. So let's start. So let me like give you an introduction like what is Flutter festival. So Flutter Festival is a like we can say a community-led event series. Like if you have completed Android Study Jam or Cloud Jam. Similarly, we have Flutter Festival for like we have Quick Labs here. So it's a community-led event series where developers like us, you, and everyone can join to learn the fundamental of Google technologies. So like Google technologies like in like every places. Like if you go for the ML, then you have TensorFlow. If for the web, we have different, and for the like this for the application we have Flutter, and then Firebase for the server, and similarly Google Cloud. So like here we will be learning fundamentals of Google technology featuring like basically focusing on Flutter, Firebase, and Google Cloud content. So this event, or we can say this info session, is for the like letting you know what is Flutter Festival and introduction to Flutter. Like like before starting, if anyone have any knowledge of what is Flutter or have anyone tried before, you can now speak if you want, like if you have any knowledge or like have tried before.
Platform language.
Yeah, that's correct. It's a cross platform language. Cross platform means like you can develop it for Android, for iOS, for web, for Linux, for Windows, and I think embedded system too. So like it's a like if you come to know like this many platform we support, then you must think that this will be a very difficult or like will not be very easy for us to understand. But don't go for that. It's very easy, and when you go through that, you will find it quite interesting also. Like I'm doing the Flutter for the past, I can say 1-2 years, and it's never been like I have stuck somewhere I can't find answer. Like Google have a very fast community support for the Flutter open, since it's a open source, it has a very vast community. So like if you ever stuck, you can always find the answer on Stack Overflow, and also you can always contact us, the seniors, they will surely help you. So let's start with the Flutter. So basically, Flutter is powered by Google, or we can say developed by Google. It's a Google portable UI kit, or you can say SDK. SDK stands for Software Development Kit, where we use for building beautiful multi-platform application. So like here, building, like you understand, we will be building apps, and then beautiful, like you can say, like yeah, we will be having a quite animation with like good animations and good screens, like all in the tablets you can see now. It's for all the application device. Like you can have iPhone, you have this Samsung, or I don't know which Android version, this Samsung Fold, and this iPad. Similarly, it's a multi-platform, means like it can support like you write the code in one language and it gets compiled into every other platforms. So this is what is multi-platform means. Next is a like we can say a screenshot of, we can say a picture taken from the internet, cometstrip.com. So like here you can say the first image, it's saying like it developing a native app. Native app means the app which is developed for particularly only one platform, like Android app, iOS app, Windows app. They are developed for only one language and with only one platform support. So this is what a native app means. So develop a native app for each device and maintain several projects. So like you can say we get a like it's a very mazy road, or we can say a difficult road for maintaining code for every platform. Like if you take an example of Zomato, let's say, like Zomato has developed application for their Android in a different language. We can say maybe Java, Kotlin, and then iOS they have developed in the Swift, and then web they have used the Angular JS, sorry, means web platform like JavaScript and all. So this is what a difficult maze you can see here, but the end product is very good. Like you can say it's a castle. Nah, like this may be a difficult road, but in the end you will get a very fast performance and all. And then in the next image we have a unique framework. Unique framework is like something related to multi-platform, where it's a single road, like you can go on, it's not very equal, but the last product you will get, it's not good. Like you develop a product for every platform, it will be laggy and it will be all like things. So what Flutter does, Flutter is a midway of both things. Like it's not that much difficult, and it's not, the end product is not this much bad. It's a middle of both things. So this is what the Flutter currently supports. We have the support for iOS. Like no, like I forgot to say, Flutter, in Flutter we write languages, we write code in the language known as Dart. Dart is very much similar to C++ or JavaScript. So like if you have from the web development, you won't be finding very quite difficult to understand. So like you can with the Dart language, it will be compiled to iOS native, then Android, then web, then Windows, macOS, Linux, and now they also supporting embedded system. Although I haven't tried embedded, but they said they support embedded system. So like, yeah, this all can be done from a single code base, means like you write the code in only one language. Then we have a like Flutter architecture, we can say, or something like deep of Flutter, not that much advanced, but a simple one. So like what is framework? Like it's a framework is written in Dart. So we have the like we have the foundation layer. Foundation layer is which contact with our native application. Let's say like you create an application, then it must be contacted with your device, like for the camera, for the GPS. So this is where the foundation layer comes, and inside above that we have animation, painting, and gestures all. And above that we have components. Here in the Flutter, everything is known as widgets. Don't get confused with the widgets that you have in your Samsung mobile when you hold on your home screen. That's a different widget, but the analogy is the same. You have a small components that can be used for multi-purposes. So we have everything on the Flutter widgets. Like if you want to use a text, it will be come under text widget. If you want to use a button, it will be come under button widget. But widget simply a component, like a pre-written component where we can define our text, define our on tap function, but it's inside a wrapped inside a widget. And the above two is a material and Cupertino. So what material and Cupertino, like if anyone knows material UI, have you ever heard? So like what material UI is, like Android, like if you see Android application, let me show something. Material UI. Or like material 3 Android. Like everything in the Android is material designed. Like if you have ever check your phone or like something, you will get these designs. These designs are known as material. Like this is something related to Gmail, these type of buttons you get. So everything you can say design, you can say taken from or inspired from the material design. So Android primarily focuses on this design. Similarly, iOS focuses on Cupertino design. So this is what Cupertino material here means. You can develop both the buttons, material buttons also and Cupertino buttons, and both will, like if you want to develop an iOS app, then you can show the iOS type button. If you want to show a Android app type button, then you can use the material button. This is something like the top level of. So here you will be only working in the both like widgets only. You will not get deep into that much. So like I will show in the code, then you will, I think, more understand. So next slide is this Flutter foundation pillars. Like we can say why we are using Flutter, what are the benefits, what are the key features, why everyone is like taking a good consideration or moving towards the Flutter. There must be something, that's why there are so many people who are moving towards Flutter that rather than native application development. So these are some pillars for that. Like it's very fast. Not if we compare from the, like if these frameworks from PhoneGap, Adobe Air, Apex, Meta, that I don't know whatever it is, they are very fast compared to this. That's why we say it's very fast language. Also, it is a productive means like if you develop the app, you will be finding like it's quite fast building application for the Flutter rather than doing on the native one. Like if you have ever developed apps on Kotlin or Java, like if you want to check a feature, you can rebuild the Gradle files and then you get the new files. But with the Flutter, it just you press Control S, save button, it automatically renders the new changes on your application. In the next, in the some time, I will show that how that much beautiful. Then we have beautiful means like there is a vast variety of UIs or components already present in the Flutter. Like if you check the Flutter cookbook or something like that, not cookbook, Flutter widgets, let's see. Like yeah, it's you can see these are quite a like very vast variety of very vast library of pre-written components are already present for you. So with these components you can easily use or develop UIs that are quite attractive also, and also have functionality and fast as they are already built by someone like professional, so they are very fast. Apart from that, it's a open source means like its code is available on the GitHub. You can check out the code, you can raise the pull request, you can, if you find any issue, you can report to them. So it's open source, anyone can contribute to it. And the last one is the portable. Like portable, what it means, like I already said, it's a multi-platform. So like with the one code base, you can port it to the Android, you can port it to iOS, and this is like different fab and all these Android and iOS, Linux, Windows. So like you can write one code and ships where you need to be. Then apart from that, we have like some animations, like it's fast, so that you can say this was built on the Flutter itself only. You can have a quite good animation with the Flutter. You will be productive, like I already said. Like if you can see the GIF here, let me go on the slideshow view. Like what he's doing, you can see it's you when you click the button, it's showing like you can click on that and you just change everything. You don't have to rebuild the application. It's just like normally it just check the where the which widget has changed, and it just re-render only that widget. So that's a quite productive one. Mm, Next is beautiful. Like you can see the application on the right hand side. It's the application created by the Flutter. You can see the animation, you can see the views, you can see the UI. So you don't have to compromise on your designer's view. Like if you're like working on a big company and they given you a Figma design or Adobe design and you want to create something like that, you can easily do that with the Flutter. There's nothing that you can't do. Then the last is not last, second last, it's open source. Like I already said, you can check out the code, you can click on the issues, you can check the issues, you can solve the issue and then create a pull request. If it find valid, they will also accept your request. So this was all for the Flutter side, or we can say introduction to Flutter. Anyone have doubt? Like if you don't want to speak, you can write on the chat. So anyone not having any doubt? Like if you have anything in your mind, like what is benefits or what are, if you have done something else, you can free to ask. Okay, then let's move forward. We have Firebase. Have anyone heard of Firebase? Or like we have a hackathon organized by Hackslash. Anyone have used this Firebase technology? No one uses Firebase in this hackathon. Okay, so no problem. You can always learn. There's plenty of things to learn here. So what is Firebase? So like let's say you have built an application. Let's say you take an example of Zomato only. you have built the application for with the Flutter. Now let's say ki someone orders, then you have to store this order information somewhere, na? For that we need servers. Similarly, some other functionality, like let's say ki you have app, you want to store the authentication system, you want to store some images that can't be stored on your mobile app. Like it should be visible to others only. So if you store these images, like let's say ki you have a dish name, what is say dosa, your shop offers dosa for the users who want to order. So you must be saving this image, this information somewhere, right? You won't be storing this information in your mobile, otherwise it won't be visible to others. So this is where we use server. So server, we can say a simple, you can say a simple machine which just take our request and give us the response that we are requesting. So what Firebase does, Firebase help us to not go to the servers. It's already provide us the server. We just integrate it to our app, and then it provide us the quite good services that we always use. So like we don't have to use server. Like Firebase is already known as serverless, something like that. Firebase is a serverless technology where we can get the products like Cloud Firestore, authentication. Let me go with one by one. So not go for here. Let's go for the Firebase technology only. You will be able to understand more. So like this, you can see this is my personal account. These are some projects that I am building or I have built in my past. So let's go over this project. So this is what Firebase does. Like I have created an application right here. So this right here is an application that we are developing inside our GDSC. So let's say ki I have developed the app, but I have to store information. I have to do authentication. I have to do storage. So for that we need server. So instead of using server, what I have done, I have used Firebase technology. So what it offers, let me show you. The first thing it offers is authentication. Like you can see, I have already done the login with the phone, with the Google. Similarly, it offers, let's say, like with the Firebase, you can use these many providers for authenticating your users. You can use simple email password. You can use Google, like if you have used, like many of the application now uses Google sign in. So similarly, we are also using, you can also use Facebook, Play Games, Phone, Game Center, Apple, GitHub, Anonymous, Microsoft, Twitter, and Yahoo also. So like you want to use authentication for your users, you can go for this authentication tab. Then we have Firestore database. As I have said, like you have to store information. You have an order and you have to store it somewhere. So this is where, this is basically a database where I store the information. Let's say I have to store a user information. You can see I can store address, age, email, gender, mail, name, and everything I can store here. So I don't have to like store it in mobile. I just make a request to this Firestore database and say, hey user, hey Firebase, I want the information of this user. So he search for his database and give out me this information. So this is what Firestore database is. Similarly, we have real-time database. It's a more or less same thing. Both provide database for us. Then we have storage. So like as I already said, let's say I have some information, let's say profile photos. You can't save, if you know database or have ever worked on database, you know that you can't store that image file or video file directly in the database. You have to store it somewhere, then provide the link of that in your database. So similarly here, what storage comes, storage stores your profile photos. Like I'm using this for profile photos. Like you can see, if this is some profile photos, you can see here. For these media, I can use storage. Then we have hosting. So like not go for the Flutter application. Let's go for the Flutter only. Let's say you are developing an Flutter application, the web part. Like you have Android, you have iOS, you deploy Android on the Play Store. You can deploy iOS on the like App Store. Now where you will deploy the web version. So it will be deployed on website, or you can say on this here only. Like everyone can search here like google.com or zomato.com. So it must be hosted somewhere. This is known as hosting, like providing an access to everyone with us. Like you have a URL and everyone can access your app. So this is where hosting comes. You can deploy your web and mobile web application into Google, or sorry, in Google, I'm saying in the internet, and then anyone can access it through the links. So like similarly, we have some other functionality also, functions. Then multi-function are like small functions you can learn on server. Then we have machine learning. Like this is something like you can find quite useful. Let's say you are developing a text to speech application. Let's say you have an idea that whenever I scan the signboard, I can get the translation. So for that you must be having knowledge of machine learning, knowledge of deep learning. So like here what Firebase does, it already provides these type of machine learning models. So you just have to integrate it in your app. Like you can say text recognition with the image, you can extract the text. Image labeling, you can like label the image like whether it's a dog, it contains heels, it contains sun. Similarly, face detection, object detection, barcode scanning, language ID, so detect the language of the text, like whether it's written in English or French or Spanish or something like that. On-device translation, smart reply, and landmark recognition. These are some of the machine learning models that already present in the, you can say, Firebase. Although all are not free, some of are them paid, like you can see here. It's free for something like you get 400 labels. It's have low latency, but it's quite good for the development part. When you move to the production, you can always buy that. But if you are doing development or you want to learn, this is like quite good. I have used it and I never find it like I need to go for the paid unless I'm going for the production. So these are all the things that Firebase offers, and these are all more like, let's go for the last one, this analytics part. So what analytics that, like you have users, you want to track that how many users have orders through my app, how many have users check that this, and this is all that you can do with the analytics part. Like you don't have to do any coding for that. You just like write 2 or 3 lines that you indicate that I'm using analytics, and then it automatically like records these three things like user activity, users in last 30 minutes, average engagement time, session per user, user retention. These all are like information, it's already stored without doing any code. So this is like quite interesting. Like if you go for the normal server, then you have to implement all these things by yourself only. So this is something like quite powerful. When your app goes to production or your app goes to Play Store, then you must be having list of these things so that you can better serve your users and all. So this was Firebase. I hope you got some understanding of Firebase. You can always explore this Firebase from here. There's also a like sample product they give, so you can check out that how they use it. Like I don't know, like this Explorer demo project, you can check out this project so you can more in depth understand what the things is Firebase has to offer. And always you can use it in your app. I will like in the incoming session I've also planned for like this is our first session. We have some more sessions also. So in next section we will plan to like develop application. In the next section we can like connect it to Firebase. In the next section we can have a cloud, introduction to cloud, Google Cloud, if you know. So these are all things that we are planning to take. So we have already covered Flutter, we have already covered Firebase, and we have one more technology that we are currently focusing on. That is Google Cloud. So Google Cloud is like, as you know, everything is now moving towards cloud. Like we have in like before 5 or 10 years, we have everything on the like servers present in some remote location, or like you contact them. But now everything is like on top. Cloud doesn't mean like it's already on cloud. It's in some way it's in some computer only. But like you can access it from anywhere from the internet. You can access whether your server locates on the America or London. You can always access it through the Google Cloud technologies. Like we have Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and then we have AWS. These are like Google Clouds only. But like here we will be focusing on Google Cloud. So let's go over to a brief introduction. What is Google Cloud? Let's say have some Google Cloud. Like yes, you can see some information over here. What's next and better software, faster. Like let's say example only. Let's say you have, as I have said, like you are developing application and you have planned not to go for the Firebase. Then what's the next move? Then if you're not going for the Firebase, then you have to create a server. So like that I have some extra things I will be required that are not already provided by Firebase. So I will be going for our own server. So okay, you can go for your own server, but then also you have to like server also like have to be hosted somewhere, and it can't be hosted like in the normal web page. Like you can say we have hosted the Zomato application. Like let's go for the Zomato only. Let's say this is the Zomato app. So this is only the front end that is hosted on the internet. You are not getting the database information from this web page, nor neither the information of your authentication from this web page. You are just hosted this front end, or we can say client side, where we just take the request from the server. We just request the server and it provides us the response. Let's say here we have something like they have requested server to provide some information and they have provided these images and all. So this is front end. Now we have back end, that is known as server. That is also have to be hosted somewhere. It has to be running on some machine. Your machine will, like you have a laptop, you will have your server only running when you turn on the laptop. If you shut off your laptop, you won't be having your server running. So it must be hosted somewhere that is already running 24/7 and all. So this is where Google Cloud is comes. Like this is one part of Google Cloud, not the whole. So that is known as virtual machines. So like you host a virtual machine in the Google Cloud, and that machine is dedicated to you. You can move your server code over there and then run it. So whenever your client is there, like it's on the India, it's on the London, it's on America, it can access it from through the machine. Like everything is connected on the internet, so you can already connect it through there. So this is where Google Cloud comes. Some of the features of Google Cloud are like compute engine. I already said these are virtual machine that you can use for hosting your servers and all. Then we have cloud storage. Like similarly, we have the Firebase storage. Now I have shown for storing some data images, or you can say backup for that, or logs, your log server logs. These all things can be stored on your cloud storage. Then we have a cloud SDK. So cloud SDK is simple like command line tools. Like I don't know if it's installed or not. Yeah, this is what known as CLI. This is command line interface. Like you want to access this compute engine, let's say you want to access the compute engine through your system. So there are two ways. Yeah, so you go for the similarly this website. You can access your virtual machine from here, or you can use this what known as CLI or command prompt. Like if you are on the Windows, you will be having command prompt. If you are on Mac, you will be having terminal. Similarly, I'm on the Linux, I'm also having terminal. So this is the CLI part. You can use the CLI for like connecting through your virtual machine for checking some data. This is Google Cloud Console. Like these are the technologies that Google offers. You can see on the left bar, billing and then compute engine, computing Kubernetes, cloud, Firestore, Bigtable, SQL for database. So these all are things that cloud offers, Google Cloud offers to us that can be used for like in our application. So we covered the cloud SDK. We have cloud SQL also. SQL is basically a database language. If you don't know, like if you are writing database, it should be on some language. We have SQL, we have NoSQL. So cloud offers both. Here we are featuring cloud SQL. It offers, I think, also NoSQL database. Then we have Google Kubernetes engine. This is something related to Docker, if you have ever heard. Then we have BigQuery. BigQuery is for like large tables that like I have very much large table. Let's say I have the data of 10 years of Zomato. Then that must be a very large data. You can't access it through the normal SQL queries. You should be there something new technology known as BigQuery, where we work on the like tens or thousands of lines of codes, not records, I want to say. Then we have CDN network, like you want to host somewhere, you want to get a link for that, then you can use content delivery network. Data flow, vision AI for the ML part, cloud run, cloud function, and anthos. These are like technologies you can explore, always explore. Like if you take part on hackathons, if you take part on what to say, like developing application, then these technologies like comes to us, like help comes to handies to us. So this was all for the Flutter, Firebase, and the Google Cloud. If anyone have any doubt, you can speak it on channel also you have mute permission, or you can write on the chat.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So Firestore database and real-time database same ही होते हैं
Like basically basically the performance, or we can say the purpose of things are same. Like you store the database, so the difference is like how you store the database. Both have the same purpose, to store your database your information, but the difference is like how you access it or how you store it. So like Firestore is a new technologies, like it's not available anywhere else, I think. So Firestore is something like provided by Firebase only to like have easy querying thing. Like this real-time database is like normal language. Like this is based on NoSQL only. So for creating this or for like accessing it, you must have knowledge of NoSQL. Right? Let's say I have to access the user information, then you have to write the command for the user for fetching users, like like for the NoSQL language. But what Firestore does, Firestore also stores your data, but you can easily access your information through like let's say I want to information, like I want to access this user information. So what I can write something like simple, something like this: db.users.get db.collection. Collection is like, you can say this is the collection. Basically, in if you have SQL database, if you learn that SQL database divided into database and tables, here we have collection and documents. So like if you want to go over the user collection and then you want to access this document, so you write db.collection users, and then doc means document, and then this doc id that is provided here. So with this you can get the information of like this user. But if you are going for the real-time database, then you have to write a query related to that. This query will won't work. You have different query for that. So like if you want a comparison between them, like you can say they already provide a like versus for us, like you can say Firestore is a Firebase newest database that's primarily used for mobile web application. So basically it's built on real-time database. It's not something new. It just have a easy construct to us. Like you can easily manipulate the data, you can easily query the data, you can easily store the data. All these things you can also do in the real-time database, but you can do more easily on the cloud Firestore. That's the like you can say a difference between them. Also, you can explore this document. I will share the link. It's not sharing. I don't know. Can you see this? You can see the chats. It's in the chat.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's not showing in there. I don't know. Okay, then you can explore this document. Like you can have a like check out this what these provide. Like this real-time store data in the JSON tree, like the normal NoSQL form where you have data is stored, and then we have a like cloud store where we can easy to store the document which are very similar to JSON. We have like complex data structure, but we can easily like fetch the data or have a strong query performance in the cloud Firestore in comparison to real-time database. So I hope you were able to understand some of the concept.
So I have one more question. So what is the difference between SDK and SQL?
No, these both are things are different thing. SDK means a software development kit. It's simply a language, or you can say a framework. Like if you have heard about React, Angular, these all are things like you can say a software development kit, not a framework. We can say a framework more particularly. So these help in developing app. So SDK basically help us in building apps. And what SQL is basically database, not a database. It's a language for accessing database. Like if you check the SQL, So like SQL stands for the structured query language, and it's basically used for like managing or like querying the database, and SDK is for building the application. These things are like both are different things. Don't get confused with it. So we use SQL for like storing, manipulating and retrieving data in database. And then we have SDK, that is software development kit. It's a basically a collection of software tools. Like here the Flutter SDK, it's a basically collection of software tools that help us in building the application. Like I have said, the multi-platform, so it must be having some code already written that compiles it to Android, it compiles to iOS. So this is all like you can say packages into one, and this is known as software development kit or SDK. Is it clear?
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah, okay.
Like anyone have any more doubt, you can ask. Till then, like we can go for a simple application for you, so you can understand Flutter more clearly. So yeah, before going, like if anyone have any doubt?
Sir, hello.
Uh-huh.
Sir, we can add any ML or AI module in Firebase?
Yeah, basically like yes sir. Yeah, basically you can use these pre-built model also, like they already provide by Firebase. But let's say you want to integrate something else that's not provided here. So you can create a ML model, or if you have knowledge of ML, you can create the ML model and then you can import that model in your application. We have some packages like TF Lite in Flutter. So these are some like packages which help us in like having ML models that are already like, let's say you are not using Firebase, you want to develop your own model in your Flutter, then you can use this package for importing the ML model in your application, and then you can use it. Like they provide some of the like uses also, you can check it over here. So you can like everything that you can do on the normal application, normal Android application building, you can also do it with the Flutter.
Okay, sir.
Flutter, like as I've already said, it's open source. So like many of us, like us, many developers, like let's say you are having this problem, like I want to integrate this model and you can't find anything useful on the internet. Then if you have knowledge of open source, you can create it over there and you can upload it over here. So this is what the power of open source. Like if you don't have anything on the internet, you can always push it to the internet and you can contribute to the internet. Like let's say I have created one package some days before. Like let's say I want to have this package I have created some days before. This you can also use. I find it nowhere on the internet, so I've created this package and then you can use it to in your application also. So this is like open source, known as open source development. Like if you have used GitHub also, Flutter GitHub. So this is like let's say if this is Flutter technology, like I already said, it's a SDK, it's a collection of tools, it's a like collection of code that is already written by someone. So if it is already written by someone, then it must be also posted somewhere. So what private companies do they make their code confidential so that no one other can copy. But what Flutter does, Flutter is an open source project, so you can always check out their project. You can check out that how they are creating their project, and if you find that you want to integrate something, you can always create a pull request, and then if you have any issue, you can always create here. So this is the like open source what means. Okay, then let's go for the Flutter. Like if you have already not installed Flutter on your system, like I will not go for the installation part, it will take time and many of you won't be having a good like high fast internet connectivity. So I can give you a like broad instruction, or you can always contact us if you find some problem. Flutter install. Like I guess most of you are using Windows only, so you can go for the Windows over here. You can download the zip file, then you can extract it somewhere. Like here it's extract to the C users and then your document folder. And after extracting, you have one thing to do to add it on your path variable. So path variable, what path variable does? So let's say you have installed this application in your C users document. So you can access Flutter from this project only. But let's say I want to access the Flutter from some different folder. Let's say I want to access Flutter from the drive D. Then you can't access Flutter because it's installed in the document folder. So what path variable does? Path variable added this to the command prompt, so you can access it from anywhere. So you have to add it over there. They have given the instruction how to add that. Then after adding, you can run the command flutter doctor. Like if I run, you can check the Flutter version to like this, or if you run the Flutter doctor, it will help you in the further process, like what is your Flutter channel, if you have any errors, or if you have not done any part, it will become as a cross, and then it will also provide, like let's say here the Android SDK is missing, so they have already provided the link from where you can download and the steps and how you can do that. So once you get all the ticks here, you can be assured that the Flutter is ready on your computer, and then you can start building your Flutter application. So like you can try, and if you find any difficulties or if you stuck somewhere, you can always contact me or Srijan or anyone, and we will be sure help you. And then you have installed this SDK, then you should having Android Studio to run, Android Studio or VS Code to run this Flutter command. I'm using Flutter, I'm using VS Code. You can also use Android Studio. So let's create a simple project. Let's say I want to create a Flutter new project. I will be creating application. I will be creating here. Let's give it a name Flutter Festival 1. So like it's created the Flutter application for me. Like you can say it's created the file for us to require like Android folder for building it to Android, iOS. Then we have Linux, Mac OS, and web. So like I can give you like how it will be shown on the different platform. Like if you can see on my in the like bottom right, here it's currently selected as a Linux. Like I have my current OS is Linux. I am building on Linux. So like let's say run this file. Like it shows that how many devices are already connected. You can run it for the Linux as it's my already operating system. You can run it on the Chrome, which is the web. So this is multi-platform. When I connect my mobile, let's say I connect my mobile, just a minute. You can see now we have 3 connected devices. We have RMX, which is my mobile. Then we have Chrome, which is web. Then we have a desktop, which is Linux. And I have also have emulators over here. So let's first build for the, let's say Linux. Flutter. So Flutter, choose one. So it's asking me to choose. Let's say I want to build for Linux. So like this is the Flutter, a simple Flutter application that is already provided by the Flutter SDK to like learn, or you can have a walkthrough over here. Till it's building, let me have a walkthrough over here. So like if you know any language, it's already built. So you can say my application is built. So this is my Flutter application. You have pushed this button many times. And I was saying something related to productivity. Like you don't have to build your application again if you want to have some changes. Like let's say you are having this app bar color blue. Let's say you want this color red. So let me check the code. So this is my code primary swatch, which is basically primary swatch. What does? It's a theme data. It changes the theme for all application, for the whole application. Let's change it to the red. Yeah. So let me do something like this. So like let's say I'm just pressing Control S, or like I can show it from here where to do. Yeah, I'm doing save only. Okay. Since sorry, let me build it through the debug console. You will be more easily understand. Sorry, just a minute. Yes, you can see that it's launching this main file on the Linux. So let's wait for building it.
Sir, you are mute.
Sorry for that. Like you can see here, already you have seen, like I change this to color blue. Let's only press the Control S. I'm pressing this save button and it changes to blue. Like you can see how fast is the Flutter. Like you don't have to build it again and again. You just press the Control button and then it's built. Let's try one more time. Let's do it orange. You can see its color changes to orange. Similarly, like it's very fast to do development on Flutter and it's not quite hard. So like I can give you a walkthrough over here. Like in the first, we have a main function. Like if you know the language, you have learned C in your first semester, I guess. So you know that every program needs a main function. So here in the top, we have a main function, which takes an run app function, which is provided by this package, which is present in the Flutter SDK, and it runs our app. So this my app is basically a class. If you know the object-oriented programming, we have a class named as my app, and which have our app screen. Don't go for these above things. You will learn eventually. The main thing to focus is like this function. So like everything I have said, everything is widget in Flutter. So we are using a build function which returns a widget. So which widget is returned? It returns a material app. Like let's say it provides property known material. So let's say I'm returning a material app. So in the top we have a title, like you can say Flutter Demo. So Flutter Demo is something like if you do recent on your mobile application, then you can see all your running application. There it will come as a Flutter Demo. Then here we have a theme. So theme data, like I already done, like I can change the color. I can have different, you can say these are, huh? Any doubt? Like we have different, like I can change the primary color, I can change the canvas color, I can change the scaffold. These are all things that you can do with the theme data class. Then we have a home. Home is another attribute where we define our application, or we can say one screen. So like here you can see title. We pass a title over here. So let's go over here. This is the my home page. So this is my home page is another class over here. It's already defined. So if you check it over here, so the topmost we have a scaffold. Like don't go for the like these terminologies you will learn when you learn the Flutter. So we on the top of this screen we have an app bar. So like if you have used any other language, like let's say you are creating web, then you have to build this app bar like scratch. But here we have already get a widget that is already provided by Flutter, which is known as app bar. So you just provide the title and it's already created this app bar. Like you can also create some other things. Let's say you want to have an icon in the front of that. You can use something like leading and then create an icon. Add, yeah. You can see I got an icon in the front of my application. So like it's very easy to do something in the Flutter. Otherwise you have to create the whole, like you can say a architecture or whole component from the scratch itself. Then we have the body. So body is this part, and in the body we have a center tag. Like if you know web, then you know the what is center. It just basically centers everything. And then we have a column. So basically column is something like when you move from the top to bottom, like you can say it is column. We have one thing over here, then in the bottom we have another. So in the column we have a text, like you have pushed the button many times. We can change it something to other Flutter festival, and with just Control S it already changes. It's fast. Then we have another text button, which is a counter. So we have a counter variable over here. So what counter does, it just store our counter to 0, like it's already defined somewhere. Like you can say counter is defined to 0. Then in the bottom we have a floating action button. Like if you click, this is also a widget that is already provided by Flutter itself. Otherwise you have to build it from yourself only. So what it does, it just have a onPress function, onPress argument, which takes a function. So this function is defined here, like it's counter plus plus. It's a simple function. What it does, it takes the counter value and it's increment it by 1. So like if I click it, it's incrementing it's 1. So like this is simple, something like you can do something more simplerly things. Let's say you want to add button to decrement this thing. You can create a button. There's a elevated button. Decrement. In the child I can in a text. As you can see that red line over here, it's saying that its function is not already defined. I can create a simple function. Let's create over here. Void decrement. What was the name? Decrement counter. So it will be a simple function which will just what to say decrement this counter variable. So like you can say it's already created a button for me. I just write a simple, you can say a 3-line code, and it creates me a button. Like if you click this button, you can see it's decrementing now. You can increase with this button, you can decrease with this button. So this is like you can do Flutter development with Flutter quite easily. You don't have to like learn, or you have to be master over here for building a simple application. Yeah, eventually when you build a large application, you should be like master over here. But for like you are learning, you are exploring, you can keep on doing like that. And once you started doing, then you will obviously you will have a quite good understanding and a base over Flutter. Then you will be able to create big application with Flutter. So I think this was all for the today's session. We already have 1 hour session. Like if you have any one doubt or wants me to explain something more, I just remain one set state function. I find it quite useful. Let me show you. So like this counter variable, what is that? It increments the counter. But this is what Flutter is. Flutter is basically a reactive in nature. Reactive means like you incremented the counter, but you should be shown in the UI. It should be reflected on the UI. If you don't, let's say I'm commenting out this set state function and adding up, let's say here, print counter. So let's say I clicked on this button. You can say in the like here, it's incrementing its value. Or let me show you something like more counter. You can see over here we have already increasing the counter value, but you can see it's not increasing in our UI. You can see now like we have incrementing the counter value, but in the UI it's already 8 only. So why it's not changing? The reason is that because you have not asked the UI to change itself. So this is the set state function. Set state function what says? It says take the counter value and whenever it is used, re-render that component, re-render that widget. So like if and now with the set state function over here, I command this set with the set state function. I'm saying that whenever this counter value is used, re-render that widget. Like I'm using this counter in this text widget. So it's rebuilding this text widget for us. So this is what reactive means. Like you command and it's already does. So for making it to be happen on the UI, you should be using set state function. Otherwise, it will be having like counter value increases, but it won't be shown in your UI. So yeah, anyone having any doubt? Like I can show you on some other platform too. Like I build it on the Flutter. I build it on some other way. Like let's build on the mobile application only. I'm audible?
Yes, sir. But now actually there is
नहीं आ रहा। अच्छा build it, I think. So good. कितना बड़ा क्यों होता है? Just a minute. Just a minute, I am rejoining. I am audible?
yes, sir.
Let me share my screen once more. So my screen is visible now?
Yes.
Like I already shown on the Linux, let's show on the web version. You can also build on the web. Like I selected the Chrome of web, so it will be automatically compiled to our web language. Let's till then it's building. If anyone have any doubt, they can ask. Like in the future sessions, we are having some of the labs already provided by the quick labs, so we will be having hands on these labs. Like you can say here we have some labs on Dart essentials where we can introduce you to the language of Dart. Then we have Flutter essentials where we can build a like two-screen Flutter application working on screen data with Flutter, and then implementing page navigation. Like I can show you one lab and then you can explore it on your own. You will be having free access until May 1st. So I will be sharing the link in some time where you can have like in the next we have some Flutter development. Let's go for this one first, show you. So like these are some of the Flutter labs. You can do that on your web only. You can see like it's a Flutter lab with 1 hour timing. It will let you understand the code and then you can implement that thing on your web IDE, and then you can run the application and you can get the badge also. Like if you complete this Flutter with these all 4 labs, you will be getting a beautiful like badge for you. Like you can show it from somewhere. Like let me show you my profile. So these are some of the badges that I taken from like when CloudJam was running. So similarly, like these batches you can also get with the Flutter Study Jam, where you can complete all these labs and you will get this Flutter Essential batch. So you can have 3 batches: one from the Dart Essential, one for the Flutter, and then one for the Flutter development. So like we are planning to take these sessions on our future endeavors, like in future time. And if we get a great response, we can also have more and more labs. Like this event will be running till 30th March. So like whenever you feel, you can always contact us. If you want any session, we can have it on that. Then apart from that, we have workshops, then some announcement, case studies, and then I already said key is that. Then like I already said Firebase, like most of you have learned the Firebase but not know the implementation or how to do that. We will have a one session for that where I can teach you like how to connect to the Firebase, how to do authentication, and how to do Firestore database. We can have all these in the upcoming session. And the last session I'm also planning to take a session on Google Cloud where you will be creating a Unix virtual machine and then Windows virtual machine, and then you can also run the Cloud SDK for that. So like here you can say now this application is on my web. You can see now this is not running on my Linux. This is the web part, like what to know. Like if you know the React or have learned or have run application, this is how this application runs. You can also, this is a Chrome tab. You can check it's already compiled my code to HTML or JavaScript, we can say. So like I just have used one language, and with all language I can use it on the web, we can use it on the Linux, we can use it on the mobile. So yeah, this was all for the session. Anyone having any doubt?
So we have a doubt in the chat box.
So like, see, we need compiler. So for doubt how it is working, so how this application is interacting with your phone. So yeah, basically like C, we need a compiler. Similarly, we have a Dart compiler. So this is where the Flutter SDK can have. So Flutter SDK, as I already said, it's a package of tools. So it already have a Dart compiler in it. It already have a Flutter compiler. It already have a like translator, which translate our code to Android, which translate our code to iOS. So this is all bundled together in this Flutter SDK. So this is how they compile. Like in the Flutter SDK, when I run this Flutter command, Flutter run, paste that. It's already set like main.dart. So what it does, it currently compiling this code for this Chrome, and then we can run this application. How this application is interacting with your phone. So basically, like I already said, if you have done Android development, so what it does, it creates an application to Android development, like in the Android native language. Similarly, Flutter also do. Flutter creates the code in the Dart and then translate it to the Android language. So like if you translate to the Android language, then you can install that application. So once that application installed, then you can use it like different application that you can find on the Play Store. It's pretty much similar thing you can get, and how they interact. Similarly, you can also interact with the Flutter application. Like I don't know if it's built or not. Just a minute. Like you can see, this is my emulator, or you can say my mobile. Let's build it on over here. So now you can see it's launching main.dart in Android phone. Previously it was launching on Linux, then it was launching on Chrome, and now it is launching for Android. So this is basically, first they compile it to the native, first it compile it to the language, then it translate it to the language or convert the code into the Android language. For the web, it converts to the JavaScript. For the Linux, it converts to the Linux language. I don't know which language. So similarly, it compiles and then converts, and then it created an application. So once this is done, it's install the application. Like let it run. I will show you. Like you can see, we have this application. Like you can say these are some application that I have installed through Flutter only. So like it creates the application, then it installed, and then you can run it like you already run this every application. You can run it same like that.
So you can even show the project structure as it has the folders of Android, iOS.
That's also a good point. Let me show you that. So you can see that I have created the code on this main.dart in the lib folder. But what it does, it created these Android folders. So this main.dart file is then converted into this Android folder if you are building for the Android application. Like its code can transferred into this like app. I'll show you here just a minute. So this is where basically the code that we just convert goes over here. Like if you are building for the Android, then it's get converted and saved over here. If you are building for the iOS, it will get converted and saved over here. If you are building for the web, you can see like we have index.html file, and then where is that file? Let me show you. So basically this is a HTML file where we have a function like load main.dart.js file. So this basically convert the main file Dart file into this JavaScript language and then re-render it on our on our web. Similarly for Windows, we have Windows folder. So this is how it gets converted and saved over here. And then it runs like a normal application. Like you can see the same application without any code changes. I can build it on the Android also. Similarly, if you have Mac iOS, you can build it on the Android iOS. If you have Mac laptop, you can build it on a Mac. with a single code base, you can like build it on over here, and like all the functionality works like that only. I hope you were able to understand. Like it's a bit lacky over here over the emulator, but you can see it's incrementing and then decrementing. So basically, we are not running the Dart file over here. We are just translate the Dart file to the Android native language. We can say Java or Kotlin, and then run the application like the normal application runs on the application on the Android folder, Android iOS, Android OS. Sorry. So this is how they like communicate with the application. If you have your mobile also, you can build it on your mobile also. Any more doubt? Srijan, do you want to add anything that I may have forgotten or something like that?
No, sir. Everything was fine. Perfect.
If anyone have still any doubt, they can like ask. I'm here to solve the doubts only. And in the upcoming section, if you like find this technology useful, you can continue using, installing, and then trying over there. So when we take the another sessions like quick, like hands-on over there, so you will be more able to grasp the things more easily if you like try it on your own by your own. So you can, like I already said, you can go for the Flutter install. You can check the installation process over here. It's not very difficult, but still if you get anyone is stuck anywhere, you can always contact me or Srijan. So you will be able to find like all the instructions are already given. You won't be finding very much difficult over here. You just download the Flutter SDK, and if you don't have Android Studio, download it too. Like this is something what is Android Studio. So you can build Android application over Android Studio also. So like all the instructions are clearly mentioned over here. You just follow the instruction and it will be over, and then you can create the application. This is like Android Studio. You can have a new Flutter project over here. Then you like give the information over here, and then it create the application for you. So like similarly, I was doing on the VS Code. You can do that on the Android Studio. So you can do it on anywhere in any IDE. Like if you have Mac, then you must be using Xcode or VS Code only. Or if you are like any like other Windows or Ubuntu users, you can use Android Studio. I think Android Studio also present in Mac also, so you can use it over here also. So any more doubts?
हेलो सर।
हाँ
सर जो सिस्टम डिजाइन जो होता है तो सर वो सर सीखना जरूरी है क्या, मीन्स ऐप को बनाने के लिए?
देखो मतलब बेसिकली होता क्या है, मतलब हर चीज देखो यूजफुल है, कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं है जो यूजफुल नहीं, बट लेट्स से यू आर लर्निंग नाउ, so like you can skip this for now. Let's say you will be building only small application while you are exploring or learning, so you can skip that part. Like you can make that once you learn, like you have the command in the Flutter, you know that I can now build application on the Flutter more easily. Then you must learn system design, because when you build the application for the large, like let's say Zomato only for, so this is very large application. So if you don't have system design, if you don't know which page is linked to which page and how this page contacted with other servers, then you will be finding very quite, let's say, hard for figuring out these things. So if we know the concept of system design, so you can have that easily. Basically, I will not say it's like must to learn now. You can learn it once you feel like you have already the knowledge of building application. I guess system design in your semester this, na?
नो सर, आई एम फ्रॉम मैकेनिकल.
अच्छा, mechanical. Okay, okay. Like it's not necessary for now. It's a very far project. Like even I don't know the system design very deep also. Like Srijan have knowledge, but I don't have much knowledge of system design. Yeah, but like it's already need when you build an application for like large users, or like let's say you want to move that application that will be used by millions of people, then it must be necessary. Then you should have system design. But when you are learning, when you are exploring, you can skip that part. You can just have the simple application, you know which page you are using, and then you can create the application.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so I'm stopping the recording. If anyone have any other doubt, we already have 1.5 hour session. Thank you for you all to have me joined till this time. I hope you learned something new.